That's why I come. No, so I come for you. I come for all the listeners, my millions and millions of listeners out there. I come and I come just so that I can talk to you. I hope what I'm talking is entertaining anyway. But I'm going to talk a little bit today about words, and I'm gonna preface my talk a little because this is hard. I'm gonna preface it a little bit about what silent words are happening as we notice with the NFL and everything. It's getting a little bit out of control, I believe. It's lost its original intent, to bring awareness to police brutality of black people, or even bring awareness to racism. It's morphed into something that this is about the the First Amendment right of free speech, and it's like, do you really understand free speech? Or you just heard somebody say that everybody has the right to free expression. So this is free expression. So then they going to be all intelligent and making into speech and stuff. Cause this is definitely about free expression. And I don't agree with the mandate that they want to have that all the football players have to stand for the national anthem. I don't agree with that on a couple of fronts, and one of the major fronts is we made a big assumption that all the football players are Americans. I'm not sure if they're all Americans. They're probably the majority of them are American, but there's also some that might be from Tonga. They might be from Canada. They may be from Mexico. I don't know. So the mandate that all the football players have to stand for the national anthem going to be kind of tricky to do because I don't know where their point of origin is. I know where their money comes from. They're getting their money, it's American money, so that's why they're here playing football. And I'm sure that people would if they can draft you out of another country and you're a superstar, then they'll do this. And anyway, I don't think we should mandate patriotism like that. It's like that kind of takes away from the actual emotional inner well-being that you get from patriotism if you're a very patriotic person by having somebody mandate that you have to stand for the national anthem. I mean, if you feel it down within your bones that this is something that you really hold true and dear to yourself, then it wouldn't just be your patriotic move during a football game. Now, you would be doing things patriotically all the time. Just like the words, because we'll be talking about words that Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. See, we won't hear those words. We won't hear those words. We heard those words with Kennedy, and sometimes when they're doing a special on Kennedy in the news thing or something, that'll come up because it was a great speech. But we won't internalize those words. They're just words. Yeah? Just like all these other things. I don't know how many people can really sing the national anthem. I would really like to see, because they paired the crowd, nobody's singing. Some people are standing, some people are eating, some people are drinking, some people have their hand over their heart, and some people are just looking around and stuff and wiggling their head and talking to the person next to them. I don't see many people singing. I don't know if they know the words. So it's like, if you're gonna use that as your platform and excuse or reason behind why everybody should be mandated to do something, at least know the words. That'd be helpful. I think that'd be helpful. Yeah. Let me see. Put on my thinking. Yep, that'd be helpful because that'd at least show that I took time out of my little third and fourth grade to learn the words to the national anthem, and I retained them. And I don't know it only the first verse. We don't no showing off, going deep into the other verses and stuff. So that's the way I feel about the some of the words and some of the ways that we use words in this here. Again, to mandate the national anthem for the football players, have to be out there, have to stand, have to do this. Nah. If you can't feel it within your heart to be patriotic, then don't. You know, it's all good. It's all good. You know, for whatever reason people are in this country, that's their personal reason. You know, and that's what this country and democracy and freedom's all about. It ain't about mandates. It ain't about regulations, and it's not about following the herd. It's all about an independent right to freedom of choice. So if they want to protest because they feel as though this country isn't doing them the service that they think that they deserve, they can do that. But then again, if you're going to do that, show it. You know, back it up with something else. Taking a knee on the football field when you're a big old football player and everything, that's fine. You know, it sends a message. It sends us. I'm amazed that the message got so big, but the message got big because it's been tainted and moved around in so many different ways. It's not the original intent. But if you want to show that you're not happy with the way that people are treated within this country, let it be known. Stop. Let's y'all get a nice thing together to stop the feelings of prejudice and racism. Yeah, I got a great idea for prejudice and racism. I kind of tweeted a little bit on, not tweeted, Facebook this morning on, and when Jesus said, "Ye among you without sin, he throws the first stone." I think we can do that same thing with racism and too, and I'll sell the stones. Pay for the show. It'd be cheap. You can buy a nice rock, and then if you have no prejudices and no racism, then you can cast that stone down at something. But if you have prejudices and racism, you can take that souvenir stone home with you. Nah, I wouldn't sell it. You can pick up one on the ground, But I think that at least we get everybody on the same page, and with stone racism and stone, all racial prejudices and stuff. We'll kill it and bury it under the stones. If you don't have it yourself, that we have to have the first person who be able to throw the stone. That's going to be the problem. Who's going to be the one that's actually going to have no feelings of prejudice and racism in them to cast that first stone? So maybe the football players can do that. I don't know. Then maybe they can take the lead on that, and if they want me to sell the stones, I'll get them. Yeah, don't worry. So, yeah. So that's my little thing for to start the show on words and the difference between actual words, and I'm going all the way to the end first, and actual things that aren't words, the things that really don't have the true meaning of what the words are trying to say. Those are what I think they're called inconvenient facts. And what those are, words used to tell what might have happened if something had occurred. Just like with the well, that might have been or this is a good thing because, and then you put that word in there, because this is going to send a message that this happens and everything. But that's not true. That's an inconceivable, inconvenient fact, because the fact isn't true. You don't know what it's going to do. Yeah, will it send a message? Obviously, to some people who want to hear that, it'll send a message. It'll send some people different messages. As we see with the football knee and stuff, it sent messages of all kinds of different things all over the place. Mm-hmm. Even got into the military. It's like, how to get into the military? I don't know. But See, that's an inconvenient fact. Words used to tell what might have happened if something had happened. And words just, this is another funny thing about words. Words are beautiful and they're really vibrant and Americans use them all the time. We love our words. We like, but, but actually we don't use them. We use other words. Some words we use too much. We'll get into those words too. And then, now here's the other half of that, these word uses. Convenient truth. And what that is the truth. It's the actual event. The actual event that's happening from the football players taking the knee is that, and here we go, this is the actual event. The media and social media, news medias on domestic levels, on national levels, and even on the world level are having a field day because they have something to write about. You know, that's the actual truth. That's really what's taking place. Because if you put all the news people out there together and ask them, well, how come they're taking the knee in the first place? They'll say Kaepernick. And what did he do? He did something. He took a knee. It's like, okay, what did he do before that? He sat down, you know. He didn't, this Kaepernick wasn't, his barbecue didn't start with taking the knee. His barbecue had started before that, sitting down for the national anthem and stuff, you know. But that, you know, didn't make any headlines. So that the greater truth is that this taking the knee is really just feeding the news frenzy and stuff like that. So that's a good thing if you're a journalist. Yeah. So these are the two ways that people use words. So let's get started on words. Word in Archangel, we need words. You know, words are the most powerful things that we have because words come with a facial look. They come with a smile. They come with a pleasing type of environment setting tone. You know, that's what the archangels are supposed to produce with the words. Archangels are also stern, mean, harsh, kind of ready to stand in the line of fire to protect people type of thing, because that's their job. You know, so they can use words in that way too. So why do we put so much importance on words, on what we say? You know, we put a lot of importance on what we say. We start when we're kids hearing it. Did you hear what I said? Yeah, I did, but I didn't understand the words coming out your mouth. You know, I heard no, and then all these other words, this big long bunch of words about why you said no, and by the time you got done and asked me, did you hear what I said? I forgot. I forgot why you were yelling at me. Yeah, so, you know, that's one of the things. When we use words so that we can convey a message. They're totally a communicational device. They're the easiest form of communication that we have is the spoken word. You know? The hardest form of communication, you know? People don't even realize the hardest form of communication is writing. Writing is the hardest form of communication because you can really go off of. Nobody talks the way they write. You know, everybody talks the way they talk and they write the way they write. So you can't, even with what we say, you can't you can't measure somebody's intelligence and stuff. Say, well, that's a real smart person. Yeah, he knows how to talk. He's just repeating the words that he says. But now read something that he's written, and it's like, what is that boy talking about? You know, it can get really off the wall. And then another part of why we put so much importance on words is how we use words. We use words in a lot of different ways. We use words to make fun of people. We use words to glamorize people. We use words the use of words should be to convey a message. Somebody speaks, somebody listens. And then the listener speaks. You know, in some cases, I got some people I know, somebody speaks, and then the listener has to wrestle them to the ground and tie up the mouth to shut them up. They kind of go off a little bit, but that's quite all right too, you know. But the real intent is one person speaks, one while somebody listens, and then somebody else speaks. Kind of a back and give and take like that. And I'm sure you got friends who they just keep talking, and they just keep talking and talking and talking, and they don't have a radio show. We're supposed to keep talking on a radio show, and we do. Yeah, you know what we should be. Excuse me. See that? That's politeness. See how we did that? Got a little bit of little cough, and then I say, excuse me, and I spoke. I'm showing respect to all the millions and millions of listeners out there that I did something that is deemed not appropriate or not. Well, it's appropriate. Everybody does it, but I don't even know what the word would be for that. Something that you shouldn't do, like chewing food with your mouth open or something. You know, you cough and clear your throat. You should say excuse me to all your people. So, yeah, okay, so I did that. So, hooray for me. In other words, but what we should be doing with words, especially when you're the listener, you're the one receiving them. We should be listening for the character of the person. You know. If you know your friends, you know the people that you're around, you know the people that you're near at work and stuff. You know who's a good person, you know who's a bad person, you know who's a phony person, you know who all these people are, and that's their real character. And when they speak words, even though some people are very articulate, they talk like they swallowed a dictionary. They use 4-syllable words. I don't really see why you need a 4-syllable word. I can't hold my breath long enough to get out. I shouldn't be holding my breath when I speak, but 4 syllables is that's a mouthful. So I tried to go away. But I know people who use 4-syllable words all the time. And it's fine. I mean, that's their character. That's what they enjoy to do. They think they're Bobs. That's a 1-syllable word. It's like a poet. Everybody, I've been noticing that they've been using that word Bobs a lot with the president, you know, and his tweets and stuff like that. It's kind of like a poetic thing they used to call it. It's a Bob. Why? I don't know. But I'm sure that a lot of people didn't know that that's what it is. They just see it, have to look it up like I did. It was Bobs. So, yeah, it's a poetic type of thing like that. And that's good. That's good. But is it useful? It taints the character of something. You know? Because now we have, instead of looking at the president in the way that his character is, we're looking at the president in the way that his words are. But his words aren't reflecting his character. Not totally. His words are doing a dual thing. This is what he says. He says all kinds of crazy things. And we know that. And because that's how he uses the word. He's not he's not a articulate speaker. He doesn't use 4-syllable words. He uses small, direct, in-your-face type of words because he's a negotiator. So he needs you to understand what he's saying, because if you don't understand what he's saying, then that leaves loopholes or doorways or openings within his negotiations. So to put in a 4-syllable word, that wouldn't work for him. So he doesn't use 4-syllable words. So when he's talking, you can take it and because it's political, and he's not very well versed in the political genre, so they manipulate it any way they want to, especially the news, because that's their job, to make you say, yeah, that's right. For me, the one thing I look at, yeah, the president's, I heard somebody saying he's a racist white supremacist. I'm like, are you serious? The president don't care. he he doesn't. He's a person that, in my eyes, and he uses the words too. He comes right out and says, "I don't care nothing about that person." Punch him in the mouth. He doesn't care about people, white, black, green, yellow. Makes no difference to him. They're all insignificant. They're all irrelevant. That's what the president, he would say irrelevant if he used words more than one syllable, but he doesn't. So he doesn't say, yeah, they're all irrelevant to me. That's what he's like. A white supremacist, racist? Nah. No, there's nothing in it for him, so he wouldn't do it. So his character, by the words he used, isn't being really portrayed. We're not really looking at his character. We're just looking at the way the words are being given to us. Because they put the word out, and we see the word, and then they get a whole team of people in your face all the time telling you this is what the words meant. Like, wait, I didn't hear that. Well, that's because you didn't hear me yet. So this is what the words meant. So we should, instead of just listening, we should listen to what people say and listen to how they use their words. And then we should know a little bit about their character. We don't have to go to the president. I'm just talking about friends and stuff. Everybody, you know your friends' characters and stuff like that. Everybody got friends, and everybody, not everybody, but I think there's a majority of people out there that they know somebody who sells drugs, uses drugs. That's a prostitute, a priest, a police officer. They know somebody in these fields like that. Lawyers, doctors, all those type of things. They know somebody in those fields like that. And everybody in those fields, I'm gonna get to that in about 2 seconds, and those are subcultures, and we're going to talk about the way people use words from subcultures in a couple of seconds. Because we're Americans, and this is the what we do with words. We're Americans, and we're the most fluid and melodious. That's a great word, isn't it? Is that a great word? Melodious. Yeah, and that's, you know what that is? I didn't know what it was. I knew what it was, but I wasn't sure how to say what it was. I had to look it up. So those are words that are producing. They have a lot of melody. They're sweet sounding words. We're a sing-songy type of people. We talk with rhymes, and we talk in quotations, and we talk in sing-songy type of things like that. We talk with a lot of words that have a lot of melody in them and stuff. That's how we talk. And we're fluent in it. We do it a lot. This is our language, because we have taken so many words from all the other languages out there, and we just mix them all up together and make it our own language, and that's what we do. It comes out and it has a great melody to it, and it's kind of sing-songy. So, and also, what else we have? We have subcultures. We have one real culture in this country, an American culture based upon capitalism. Says that we're a democracy. No, we're a republic based upon capitalism. That's what we are as a culture in this country. We want everybody else to be a democracy, but we're not. we're something different. But we have subcultures. We have a medical subculture. We have law subcultures, business subcultures, a military subculture. We have religious subcultures. We have a street subculture, barroom subculture, sports subculture. We have men, women subcultures, and children subcultures. Now let's look a little deeper at these subcultures. So, with the medical subculture, we expect when we go to the doctor not to understand what they're saying with the words that they're using. We actually really do. We go in there, we pretend that we understand. We're getting better at it though. How many times you gone to the doctor and the doctor's talking about, well, the pneumothorax, that's making the pressure happen in here, and you're having this shortness of breath, and this is the respiratory and all, and you just, your head be going like this here, and you got this big old grin on your face. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That you got a clue what they're talking about, you know, because that's what we do. But in their subculture, they actually feel as though they've broken it down to words that you can understand. The internet has made it a lot easier where you can gain the information before you go there. It's like, instead of, oh man, I don't feel good, you know, why am I out of breath? Why do I have this shortness of breath all the time? I can't even walk up a flight of stairs. Should I go to the doctor? You might be having little minute microscopic tears in your heart, because you're so out of shape. So every time your heart pumps, it's pumping blood out. Now that would be the street version of some kind of cardiomyopic thorax type of thing. I don't even know what they would call that, but that's what they would call it. And your head would get to going like this, where in your subculture it's like, yeah, you got little tears in your heart, and this is caused, and then we say we're going to investigate and cause why. Oh yeah, that's right. No, they get myocardial and your peritoneal sac and all these kind of things like that. You just shake that in right up. It's good for exercise, but other than that, it doesn't do much. So that's the medical. But medicine, they're not as bad as lawyers. Lawyers, even though lawyers in their subculture, what they do is they try to manipulate and lie right in your face, and they're defending you. They try to get the easiest defense that they can get, and the best way for them to get the easiest defense is to use words that's going to make it so that you say okay, well we can. This is what we can offer the judge. They will offer. This is the way that they'll perceive. This is the way that I'll be. They like I too. I'll be able to, and any kind of thing that has to do with I, be able to make the jury see this thing our way, because we'll present this in this manner, in this fashion. You're like, but that didn't happen. But this is the best way for us to go, because they're looking for the easiest route out for them so they can make money and move on to the next case. That's kind of like, what the lawyers do and stuff. Then your business. Business got this, they got a whole, business and politics got a whole gamut of words that don't mean anything. And then they not only do they got words that don't mean anything, they got little letters after your name that don't mean anything. So, and then they want you to go to school, and that doesn't mean anything. The Fortune 500 companies and stuff like that, 10% of those people owning and doing all that, they don't even have a high school diploma. That I found that to be quite interesting. And they can't speak the words, but they don't have to speak the words because they don't need to impress anybody. But when you go into a business deal, just like going into the medical thing, you bring your head with you so you can do a whole lot of that shaking up and down with the head, and you listen to all these kind of things that's going to say that, well, if we look at this from an entrepreneurial perspective, and we see that the supply and demand is indicating that we should be leaning more towards the right over here than over to the left, and the bull market says the same thing or something, and by the time you get done, all you want to ask is, do I get fries with that? Because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a whole bunch of words that we like to throw around, and the business I think, and the politics do the same thing. They do it all the time, and you see what they do. They just got everything. They never. If you say, well, what's your take on the economic State of the Union? Yeah, the State of the Union's been around for the last since we've been around. I think we've had the State of the Union, and by golly, it looks good for us this time around too. You know, the State of the Union looks really good. It's still with us, folks. Yeah, it looks good, and it's going to stay with us. Yeah, yeah. They don't answer anything, and then their voices get higher, and they get smiling more and more and more, and they're the melodocious people right there. Y'all can keep that word. I'll say it a few times so you can get that word melodocious. Cause I'll be using it all the time. That's get a shirt with it, with melodocious. And here's my favorite, because I'm a military person. It's the military. And the military, just like the street, someplace the F-bombs coming out. It's gonna come out. That's how they talk in the military. They don't do it as much when I first went in the military. But they would yell and scream and smile at you when there's a F-bomb, little effing baby, get yourself up after that. Why are you crying on in my pit? You know, you better take that effing. Oh yeah, the military is great for that. And they also use other words like they mimic people like Patton. Well, we're gonna find those some bitches and we're gonna take them and we're gonna grease the wheels of our trucks with their guts. And they go, oh yeah, the military likes to talk all these harsh, bravado type of words that really don't, you know, if you go home and say it to your mother, she gonna put soap, she gonna take that soap, she gonna wash that mouth out. She said, she's gonna say, we don't allow that in my house. But in the military, it's how they talk. And they preface it with this. Not anymore though, the bad mouth. Get all in your face with their finger. Military is great for talking. Yeah, if you really want all the bravado, you know, they killing everything. They're eating raw meat and stuff like that. Nobody cries. They use every word that they can that denotes that makes it sound like they're the greatest people. And but you know what's funny? When they're trying to show their real machismo, like, yeah, I'm coming to get you and stuff like that. At least from my outfit, we used to just say, Billy Goat Gruff's coming. Now, Billy Goat Gruff is a nursery rhyme. So we go back to early childhood to show just how big and bad we are, because that's what we used to say. I mean, I had to tell my daughter that once, when when she was having a little problem and stuff with her now baby's father, husband, whatever he is, They was having a little. I just said to her, tell him Billy Goat Gruff's coming. That's all you gotta say. Y'all, you can figure it out. Oh, she knew what it meant, yeah. So these are words. That's how we use them. We use them to relay messages again. That's how, and we find little quotes and little cliches that we like to hold on to that makes us feel good. It makes us feel important. Does Billy Goat Gruff mean anything? If you're a little kid and you know the whole pole, but other than that, no. Not really. No. Does a ripped peritoneal sac with holes in the the ventricle part of the heart mean anything? Not if you're from Georgia. Not to say they don't know all this in Georgia, but no, not really. Does that? I'm going to be taking your case and I'm going to be getting you off and I'm going to be doing all these things and this is the way all this mean anything? Of course not. None of those things mean anything, because they're just words. But then we get into religion, and religion is beautiful. Religion is beautiful. One of the main phrases in religion I always like is nobody's perfect. You can't be like Jesus. It's like, how obvious of the truth is it that you on the stage, Yeah, of course I can't be like Jesus. Nobody can be like Jesus. Jesus had a hard time being like Jesus. It's rough to be like Jesus. But I don't care what religion, even the Muslim religion, can't be like Jesus. Nope, nobody's perfect. Yeah, that's their mental. That's what they like to say. And those words have a but those little words like that, then they expand out like a great big tree, and they take on all kinds of different emotional feelings, all kinds of the way you should run your life. They take on everything that has to do with the social component and of life and the religious one. That little phrase, you can't be perfect and you can't be like Jesus. Because in religion, their words are based upon something that's written. You know, so all the beautiful words that you want to hear, go read the book, read the Bible. It's all in there, and they'll just say the stuff that, like I said, people don't talk the way they write. People talk, and when they write, they make it nice. And religion is the example of that. And you go in there and you can find all kinds of beautiful meanings, beautiful words for really explaining and saying what it's about. But if you're talking about it, oh, nobody's perfect. Can't be like Jesus. And that's the extent of it. And you know exactly what they're saying. And then the street talk, that's like, the military in a lower form. It's just the F bomb all over the place. They love throwing it around. It's like, yeah, how you doing? Oh, I feel effing good today. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is just not a good effing day for me. Okay. Is there any need to put that word in there? No. No. But do they put it in there anyway? Yeah, it's part of the street vernacular. This is the way they speak on the street. But then when they go into other places, they don't bring it with them. Some people do. Some people don't. But maybe they might bring it into the military and they'll bring it into the law. But generally you're not going to bring it into the doctor's office, because it's hard to say that effing word while your head's shaking up and down and you have no idea what the doctor's talking about. It's hard to get that word out, so they don't say it there. And the same with the benders. It's like, yeah. And you're always amening them and giving them great kudos on how smart they are and stuff. Don't know what they're talking about because they didn't say anything. So, and you don't know what the medical personnel's talking about because they said too much. It's just two different things. Then you got a barroom conversation. And the barroom conversation, it's the same conversation. It's really kind of that subculture, and the way they use words is really unique to itself. Because if you go, I haven't been in a bar room in probably 40 years, but I'm sure if I go into this bar room in Jamaica Plain, Triple D's, it's a sports bar, I'm sure that the conversation is exactly where I left off when I left out the bar room about 40 years ago. The bar room conversation doesn't change. It's amazing. It's the same. It's the same every day, every year. It doesn't matter what state you go into. It's the same conversation. It's the same old, same old. The names don't even change for some people because they go to the same Bible. It's really kind of funny. But if you wish to go someplace where you're not even entertained because you get bored real quick. Oh yeah, I remember that. And then a lot of remembering and stuff. And then sports. I love the sports conversation. 900 million facts on why you're going to win or why you're going to lose or something like that. Everybody's an expert in sports. There's nobody who watches and follows sport. That's the cheer. Who's not an expert. They're expert. They're expert. And you know why they're an expert? Because the Record American, at least in Boston, well, I don't know what they call it now, the Herald or something. Mm-hmm. They had the smarts to make 2 front pages. They had the front page that opened left to right, which was all politics and local stuff. You flip the paper open. Over the other way, they got the front page that opens from the right to, no, they're left to right. And that's the sports page. They got two front pages. So if you want to hear what's going on with Trump, open it this way. Want to hear what's going on with the Patriots? Flip it over and open it that way. And it's easy to read, and they get all their statistics right up front. It's on the second page. Yeah, we're second place, and Brady got sacked 61 times or something crazy like that. And then, oh yeah, yeah, it's going to be a bad season and everything. Everybody tells at the beginning, oh, it's going to be great. Nobody is going to touch us. And then when the first game doesn't go the way they want, it's going to be a terrible season. I can't stand those Patriots. What's wrong? You know, they always throw out all these negatives. But this is a learned behavior too. All these words and all these subcultures is a learned behavior. This isn't innate. This isn't something that you're born with. You have to learn these skills. You have to learn how to read that paper backwards. You know? It takes skill. And you have to know just when to interject. That's the hardest part. When to interject your words into the conversation. You know, men do it different than women. You know, men interject like pumping up, and they can lean forward and they put their words right in there and everything. Women, they just talk over you and keep on talking till you just finally shut up and just let them go. That's why women don't get along with women. Because they can't hear what the other one's saying because they're all busy talking at each other. Men finally give up and say, oh, I can't get a word in edgewise, you know. She keeps on talking. And the man, he just pump it up and try to force his way in there like he's I'm the big knowledgeable guy on this and everything, and he might pound the table and do something to interject and they're funny, you know. And kids, they're just like, yeah. So when your kid comes home from school, ask them, have a good day in school? Yeah. Did you learn anything? Yeah. And then they'll go away. That's what they do in school. So those are the subcultures. Just a couple of the subcultures. There's a lot more subcultures out there than just that. You know? But they all have their own words too. And like I said a few other times already, we use words differently when we're speaking than when we're writing. You know? Just think about like the word night. You say, oh, it's night. Everybody knows what you're saying when it's night. You know? Oh, it's night. Yeah, it must be after daylight. You know, that would be in a written thing. You know, but if you're using night in a writing thing, you might say vast, the vastness of the night. You might say, oh, the surrounding heaviness of the night that was bearing down on my shoulders or something like that. It was really heavy. I had fallen into such great despair like night. You know, this is how you write. Oh, I became very sleepy this afternoon. I became as sleepy as though I was at night. You know, or wow, this is quiet here. It's a noiseless type of place. I kind of like this. It reminds me of night. You know, this is what we would say when we say night in a book or for writing. But if in talking we would say, oh, yeah, it's night. Get right to the point, and that's the way we kind of been we're used to. Because again, like we have this with the word, folks, the melodious with the melodious way of speaking. We speak with melodies and sweet sounding things, not when we write. When we write, we use all kinds of different descriptive things that's going to be showing exactly what we mean. You know, the night came. It was a cool night. It was a dry night. It was a dry, cool night. It was a dry, cool, vast night. And I was surrounded by all my friends that were giving me great comfort on this dry, cool, vast night. that had fallen upon me in early October. And I was so sleepy at that time that my friends that were around me at this time were just keeping me awake because the noiselessness of that dry, cool, vast night that I was surrounded by in early October was just so great that I had needed that assistance. That's what we say in writing. We don't say that if we're talking. It's like, what somebody say, why don't you just shut up? Nobody want to hear all that. But we do it, 'cause that's how we do. You say to somebody, hi, how are you? Fine. Well, I'm good. You know? But if somebody, you might even be, you say it irregardless of what's happening to you. You might have broke your foot. You know? Until somebody asks you, oh, what happened to your foot? You're still good. So if I say, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? Good. And then, oh, what happened to your foot? You got to have this. We're talking. You got to be allowed to come into their lives and stuff like that. In a book, you don't have to do that. You can get right into that. Oh, I was on my way down the street. I met Will, and Will had a broken foot. I asked him how he was doing for the day. He seemed to be doing all right. He answered me that he was doing all right, but the broken foot was up front. Now, before walking down, oh, hi, Will, how you doing? Fine. Somebody knock on the door. Yeah.
The bathroom door.
Oh, and this is just the way that we do things. Yeah, and this is fine. I mean, everybody's accepting it. We accept things. And I'm going to go to a quick break, and then I'm going to come back about accepting things. Because I just noticed that I'm running out of time, and I talk too much. All right, we'll be right back.
Sir?